I was hanging on every word. I thought you were going to say boneheaded, Pastor. Unfortunately, you didn't. Well, I am most pleased. Actually, more than that, I am honored to be here today to participate in this dedication. And I know many of you already. If you're new, I've had the occasion just recent years to come over a few times a year and fill the pulpit. And I just want to express publicly, Dominic, that I know you do, as I value the pulpit, and it's important what is said from this place. It's a sacred responsibility. And I appreciate the fact that you've entrusted me with your pulpit.
Absolutely.
And I've been happy to do it and to give you help when needed. But I noticed in the little program, I was described as the Steigner's longtime friends. And I want to take just a couple of moments to kind of expand that term. I basically met John Steigner and his first wife 50 years ago. I had just graduated from seminary and had just come back to Gainesville, Florida to go on staff at the church there as an assistant pastor. And John and his first wife were a young married couple, and they were in a Bible study that I started for young married couples. They had their firstborn in March of 1977. We had our firstborn 2 months later in May of 1977. Then they had their secondborn, Ben. He was born in September of 1980, and 2 months later in November, our secondborn son was born. And I'm trying to give the impression our families kind of grew up together. And I'm sure you've heard John's story, but his first wife died very abruptly and unexpectedly, leaving John as a widower with boys about ages 5 and 2. And so we had a friendship and a fellowship in Christ that just has been cemented. And it's a relationship and a friendship we have enjoyed, like I say, for half a century. Then, of course, the Lord very graciously brought this young widower a new wife, Sharon. And, of course, they went on to have 2 more sons biologically. So they have 4 sons in their family. But understand, our boys, from the time they were old enough to talk, have always referred to John and Sharon as Uncle John and Aunt Sharon. And their boys have done the same with us. And so they really are like family, our family to us. This dedication for this new construction here, this is a loving and a beautiful gesture by this congregation to dedicate it to Ben and Monica. It's beautiful, but also it's quite fitting. And I say that because of how this children's wing is going to be used, because Ben and Monica were fond of youth. They had a great affection for them. When Ben was first out of college, he served as a youth pastor at his church in Tallahassee. And some of you may know of their journey that once they were married, I actually went to New York to officiate their wedding. I actually helped officiate John and Sharon's wedding many moons ago. But they both wanted to teach young people. So they taught first in South Korea, then they moved on to Saudi Arabia, and then finally their last overseas assignment for teaching was in Dubai. And so their life just displayed an affection for young people, but none as much as their 3 nieces by his younger brother. You know, when someone dies, it's not uncommon for people, whether they're famous or even just extended family, it is not uncommon for people to want to zero in on the final days and hours. What were those final days and hours like? What were they doing? What were their final words when they passed away? And Ben and Monica's final hours and days says a lot about them. And it says a lot about what was really important to them. And that is the word family. And I'm going to describe their love for family in 2 dimensions. And the first, of course, is their own biological family. The night that they died and went to heaven, we happened to be in town because I was preaching here the following morning. And so we had the pleasure of having dinner with John and Sharon, Ben and Monica, and Ben's Aunt Loretta and Uncle Bill. But where they served the family is that as we were all visiting, Ben and Monica were serving by laboring in the kitchen, and they prepared our entire meal for us. Prepared the entire meal. And that's characteristic of Ben and Monica, wanting to serve their family. But also, there's another family that they were devoted to serving, and that's the family of God. They were active members of their church in Tallahassee. As most of you know, they were here for the weekend because the musicians were going to be away. I was preaching, but there was no one to lead the music, and so Ben and Monica decided to come down to Carabel and lead the worship music the next morning. And so this congregation's worship service was something that they made a priority. And that's why I say that their final days displayed what was a priority in their life. And I thought to myself, oh, before God, may each of us be said of us that whatever our final days are and whatever our capabilities are, that we are about serving and serving the family of God in His church. This congregation is at the epicenter of their transition to heaven and the ensuing grief of family and friends. And so that's why I'm just so delighted to be here and honored for this gesture that you all are making. And I know John and Sharon cherish your love and prayers over these last, it'll be 2 years in July that they went to be with the Lord. But there's a proverb that I want to read to you because I thought of them when I read it. Do not let kindness and truth leave you. Bind them around your neck, write them on the tablet of your heart. Ben was not just a nice guy. Ben was a kind man. And he was one who pursued the truth of the gospel. And so when I read that statement, do not let kindness and truth leave you, Ben reflected that in the way he lived. Well, as I've already referenced, the last time I saw them was at the Steigner dinner table, having supper together. And the next time I see them will be at the marriage supper of the Lamb. Thank you.